Joining me for the next half hour is Adrian Carver. He's the president of Young Democrats of New Mexico, and we're going to talk to him about what exactly it is that you guys do.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, you're welcome. And give us an idea so the viewers know what exactly the organization is about, who founded it, and that sort of thing. Yeah.
The Young Democrats of New Mexico is the organizing wing of the Democratic Party for young people. Our work consists of getting young people involved with the political process, encouraging young people to run for office, encouraging young people to volunteer on campaigns and to begin running their own campaigns. It's really a way to insert young people into the conversation of policy here in the state and in our municipalities all across the state.
When you say young, how young do are you going like legal adults, or is it younger than that? Or?
We actually work with young people ages 35 and under. We think it's important that young people and people in younger generations are involved in these discussions, and we're reaching out to students under the age of 18, anybody in New Mexico that is under the age of 35.
So you kind of give them introduction to like policy making. How does that work? To give us an idea so the viewers know what it is exactly that you guys teach them and how that works.
Right. Our work is really around getting young people involved with the political process, and so that means making sure that these young people are a part of that conversation, that they're volunteering on campaigns, that young people get that experience, and
they get to know the political process.
They get to know the political process, and specifically politics. I think that part of what we are working to do is also to influence policy once campaign seasons are over. I think it's important that young people and young progressive people have a voice in the way that policy is created in our state, in our communities.
What sort of questions do you get when you first talk to somebody about your organization? What do they ask you? I mean, did they ask you like, what am I going to be doing, things like that? Or
yeah,
are they like a little bit baffled in what do you guys do? I know you're Democrats, but then they're learning a specific type of ideology there. But then
right, we're rebuilding our organization. We're focused on getting young people to be talking about the issues, and so some of the questions that I get are, what exactly do we do, or what do we think about certain policy pieces, policy issues that are happening in our state? And it's really a way of just kind of inserting youthful voice into
So do they ask you specific things like immigration or things? What do you think about? Are their questions more, or their curiosity more geared towards specific ideological issues, or is it? I'm just trying to get the gist of exactly how you talk to them and what the youngsters, because I know I have a son, and I raised him in a political kind of an atmosphere. So we always at the dining table talked about, okay, this ideology versus this ideology, and we always compare things.
Right.
So is it more similar to that? Are they taking notes as far as?
The people that we work with, they're very interested in getting Democrats elected, getting progressive candidates elected all across the state, and it is that discussion about whether or not how we want to support our communities and how to bring new people and voices that aren't always heard in our government and in our political process. How do we bring those voices together so that they have some sort of influence on the way that policy is created in our state?
So they in turn go out and they talk to other younger generation?
Yeah, the thought is that if we have a group of young people talking about progressive policies, they're going to be talking to their friends, and that will influence different levels, and it'll have different levels of impact, and we hope that that interaction that young people have with their peers, with their families, with their communities, we hope that helps to get progressives elected.
Every time I talk to Sonny goes out there and talk to other kids his age. He's 18. He's almost 18. Turns 18 in the next couple of years. He always tells me that, oh yeah, when I was talking to him about such and such a policy, the kids are very fascinated because they haven't heard such a talk before from someone who is 17 or 18. I know I raised him pretty involved in politics and stuff. Some families do, some families don't. But I think youngsters are curious. Anything, I'm talking about 17 and above, they're curious. They like to know what it is the adults are talking about. And I think this gives them a good opportunity to at least give them a side of what certain ideologies are, or specific issues, why we stand for this, why we stand for that.
Yeah,
even though you're a Democrat and you're talking to them about mostly progressive or left-wing ideologies there, but then they still understand the process, which is a good thing for them because they can make up their mind down the road.
Right, and through my organizing work for the past 10 years, I know that young people are the experts in their own experience, and those experiences are important stories that legislators need to hear in order to create policies that truly do influence and have positive impact on our communities. And I believe, and the Young Democrats in New Mexico believe, that young people need to have that voice, and that young people want to be a part of the system. We want to be a part of how policy is created in our state and in our communities, and that's why we exist, is because we want to have that voice, and we're working to make sure that we're talking about issues with all of our education, so that all of our students in all zip codes have a quality public education, with healthcare, with the new rollout of the exchange, and
there's a lot of talk about the healthcare, so I'm sure they want to know
and
what the healthcare is.
And
act
a lot
is
of
about.
what we want to talk about are what are your rights with some of these systems and these programs that are being rolled out, and what are your rights as a student, and how does the student loan crisis affect you?
Okay. When they were talking about the student loans and stuff, a lot of times at least the national media kind of filters it in a way which is very difficult to understand. They just have sound bites, so they don't know what's going on, how it's going to affect them. They're talking about an increase in the loan itself, whereas I believe at 3 point something is going up to 6 something, which directly affects them. And I had my daughter; she's going to UNM. She's wondering, well, how is this going to affect me? So it does affect them, and they know something is there. They just need someone to explain it, I think, properly to them. And I think if your organization, how did you first get involved in it? Was there something specific you felt like, okay, I want to talk about these things? Or
How did I get involved with Young Democrats?
Actually, you know what? Let me take a short break.
Yeah.
When we come back, let's talk about that and exactly what it is that kind of led you into that. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I got to take a little break there, okay? We'll take a short break. We'll be back with Adrian Carver. We're going to talk a little bit about the inner workings of Young Democrats there, okay?